The Oscars revealed the shortlists for some of the categories. These are usually the ones that are considered below the line, so it's not your writing, your directing, your best movie, stuff like that. But stuff like the documentary features, the shorts, the international movies, animated, original song and score, makeup and hairstyling, visual effects, and sound all got revealed. Not the actual nominees, the 5 nominees that each category will have, but a short list of, I think, usually 10 movies are in there, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes some have like 15 or maybe more. But yeah, I had to look through this. There's some stuff that is missing that I'm a bit upset about. Lachlan, I don't know if you had a chance to skim through it and see if there's
Having a
anything
little
that
squiz right now.
I think the most interesting one is international, and what you see missing there are, for me, 2 movies. One of them is the Estonian submission, Smoke Sauna Sisterhood. It's a smaller film, but I think it would have deserved to be nominated here. And then secondly, the way bigger omission is a film that we saw in Gun, and that was like one of the best that we saw there, about Drag Races. It is not even on the shortlist, and I'm a bit upset. I'm more than a bit upset.
Yeah,
I'm
wow.
actually really upset. He's really beloved in Gun. I think he's had like 3 or 4 of his films premiere there, but I don't think to this day he has an Oscar nomination, so it's no surprise that he was overlooked here. But the overall list of the international nominees, I'll put them on screen right now, are actually like really solid. I think The Promised Land from Denmark is great. Fallen Leaves from Finland. Even A Taste of Things, Anatomy of a Fall is something that a lot of people would have preferred. Will still likely get in some other places, but that's France's submission. The Teacher's Lounge, I'll talk about that later today. I saw that one. Perfect Days, my favorite movie of the year. So great to see that in here.
Whoa.
Yes.
Big praise.
Big praise. And The Zone of Interest here as well. It's the UK submission. Even to documentaries that are also on the shortlist for the documentary features. 4 Daughters from Tunisia and 20 Days in Mariupol from the Ukraine. Yeah, it's been a great year for international cinema, and yeah, I have like 4 on this list that I haven't seen yet on the short list, so I'll try and catch up on those. And yeah,
Which
anything
ones?
else that stood out
Can
to
I
you?
ask which ones?
Yeah, I haven't seen Americazzi, but you can rent that one on Amazon. The only one that is going to be hard to find is the one from Bhutan, the Monk and the Gun. The last couple of years, they've just like always it's also the same director or company or whatever that got nominated the last couple of years from Bhutan. We'll see. The films have been a bit underwhelming, but yeah, would have maybe preferred something else over this. I haven't seen Godland. That's on the Criterion channel, so I'll see that probably later this week as well. And I also haven't seen Totem. Actually, it's 5 that I haven't seen. I lie. No, 6. Shit. Okay, I'm worse than I thought.
7?
Society of the Snow, I haven't seen, but I do have a screener for it, so I'll get to that before the end of the year. And then 4 Daughters was supposed to come out on VOD a couple of days ago, but I haven't found it yet. But yeah, I'll catch up on those. But a good list, but yeah, I would have loved to have seen About Drag Races on here as well. But yeah, what do you think? What do you think about the... not just the international, maybe also some other stuff, if you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I'm currently looking at this list. There's obviously a lot to go through, because at the end of this, most of these will be cut in half, if not a quarter, down to the last quarter of a nominee, which is insane to see that so many of these get offered a position, and even just to be shortlisted is an honor to show the level of craft that goes into some of these films. But looking at some of these other films as well, I mean, if you look at obviously the most important category, makeup and hairstyling, you've got Beau is Afraid, Ferrari, which needs to make Adam Driver look Italian, so Golda
doesn't sound Italian, so at least
Moon,
he has to look it.
The Last Voyage of Demeter. Did you watch that, right?
I've seen, apart from Society of the Snow and Golda, I've seen everything in this category. And I thought the monster was very CGI heavy, but I guess there was also makeup and hairstyling. I don't know. It's okay. It's like, okay, it's crazy. It's not gonna get the Oscar nomination. Like 100%, it's not gonna get it. But it's a
question.
a nice surprise.
I think So I haven't seen Maestro yet, or Ferrari,
Yep.
or
Mhm.
Golda, but I don't need to see Last Voyage of Delamere, and I
No.
don't think I need to see Society of Snow. But I think that makeup and hairstyling, Poor Things, I mean,
Poor Things, yeah.
pretty
I'd say so.
strong. I mean, we haven't even got
Yeah.
to talking about the film yet, and
Yeah.
I already
we'll
want to
talk,
say,
yeah.
massive Oscar contender.
We'll have like at the end of our review, we'll do like a short little discussion about what Poor Things maybe did best of this year. Because there's a bunch of stuff that it could be considered for.
And if we just scroll down a little bit, Ewan, we're on the IndieWire article here. Visual effects. If you look at visual effects, there's obviously a film that I think that people were expecting to be on there, but it's not. Do you know what that film is?
One of the DC ones, or
it's Ferrari, because I had to use CGI to make Adam Driver look Italian. No, I'm kidding. It's Oppenheimer. Okay. There's no Oppenheimer in VFX.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. I mean, they were certainly, like, it wasn't to that level where Oppenheimer has also had, like, the discourse around, like, hey, everything is in camera, there's not a lot of CGI, and there is CGI, there is VFX that go into it, but it's not the same-ish campaign that Top Gun Maverick had, which was like, oh yeah, we shot it all there, it was all there, but there was a ton of CGI that you just didn't notice in Top Gun. And didn't Top Gun win Best VFX? I don't remember, but I just kind of feel like that was the case. At least it was nominated. And I guess with Oppenheimer, that didn't really carry along. I think also Poor Things has a lot of like really great CGI use for like background stuff. They love to nominate a bunch of Disney projects here usually. The only thing I'm seeing though is Guardians 3. There's no, like, Spider-Verse is something different, but it's nice to see an animated movie in here for its visual effects, and Indiana Jones is an interesting one. The Creator definitely deserved to be in here. I hope it also gets nominated. And Godzilla -1, man. That's a really nice surprise as well.
My only argument about Oppenheimer not being in there is that Oppenheimer has CGI. Like, there is no doubt Oppenheimer has CGI involved, but the CGI is quite hidden in comparison to a lot of these other movies where they are more in your face. I mean they didn't really shoot Rebel Moon on a moon with an opening shot of a planet. They did not do that. That's all CGI. That's more in your face, where Oppenheimer takes a more hidden approach to its VFX. But I feel like that should still be recognized a little bit. I think it should be recognized.
I counter you
more than Indiana Jones.
I counter you with 1917, which won the Oscar for being a one take and basically stitching stuff together. It's not like, it's not like they don't appreciate small VFX stuff that is impressive. I think the Creator deserves to get this award. I think it's great that Godzilla is in here
for the budget and the way it was shot. 100%.
Yeah, I would love to see the Creator, Godzilla, Spider-Verse. I haven't seen Rebel Moon yet. And then maybe Mission Impossible is great. And give it to Guardians. Guardians, I think, has really solid CGI as well. Those 5 would be my 5 picks to get nominated. Wouldn't be upset if Poor Things makes it in there. Napoleon is like, I don't know. There's some stuff, but it's also another like
CGI.
Hidden, exactly, yeah. For crowd stuff and the battle scenes. I haven't seen a lot. Like, for this, for the more stuff that's hidden, you gotta see the CGI breakdowns that they do to campaign for these films. And technically it's always very impressive. But yeah, I was a bit upset that for best score, Past Lives is not even considered. A bit upset about that, because it had a really amazing score as well. But I mean, The Boy and the Heron is not a great one in here. There's a ton of nominees. I don't know. We don't need to go over all of them.
But at least we know that I'm Just Ken is safe for original song.
There's 3 nominees for Barbie.
There's still,
I'd say from the 3 Barbie songs, Dance the Night, I'm Just Ken, and What Was I Made For. Right before we recorded this, Lachlan was off to make make himself a coffee, and I put on What Was I Made For and passionately sang along. It's one of my favorite songs of the year. I think it's a really great one. So wouldn't be upset if that one takes it. But I mean, yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure, I'm not gonna say this, but they just released a Merry Christmas Barbie edition of I'm Just Ken.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Gosling re-recorded. There's 3 different versions of it for I'm Just Ken. I listened to all 3 of them, and I gotta say they all like really suck. to be honest, and they're not good in my opinion, and are not really worth it. I know it's probably for like an Oscar push that they're doing this, or maybe it's just for good fun. But
And the
I
meme.
think they were kind of not worth putting out. Yeah,
But also,
it's not
it
even,
was Ryan
it's not
Gosling
even
at a
funny.
piano, and all I thought was La La Land, and I fell in love again.
Yeah, I mean, if does that does the job, then they would miss out if I'm Just Ken is not nominated, and they wouldn't get the live performance from like a bunch of the actors who played Ken in Barbie all on stage. I feel like they definitely want that moment. So I would be really surprised if I'm Just Ken doesn't make it. I don't know what the rules are if you can have more than one song nominated for the same film. But yeah, all three of them are pretty decent.
I feel like
yeah.
the rules are pretty loose these days, mate. For the Oscars,
I don't know, man. They're quite strict sometimes as well for certain things. But you like for no, I guess yeah, for the Oscars it's usually pretty clear what it is. There's some other award shows where like the foreign language film is like a certain percentage that it needs to be in that language to be considered that. So like Past Lives at like one award show was a foreign language film, although it's an American movie, with just Korean people in it, and part of it takes place in South Korea. Weird stuff, gets complicated. I'm also very happy to have the Zone of Interest both in sound, which deserved, it should win that, and also in score. I think that was a great choice, and I'm glad it's not overlooked in those categories. Yeah, that's basically it. Unless you want to add something to the Oscar shortlist.
well, we don't have all the categories in this shortlist. There's so many more to come out, which are obviously the bigger nominations of actor, actress, supporting, picture, director. But as these smaller categories, which unfortunately don't get a large amount of screen time when it comes to these award shows, it is good to just recognize them and appreciate the effort that a lot of these studios went into, and even being shortlisted, as I said earlier, is a big honor with the Oscars. Like it's to be put up above the same level as these other films that came out is incredible. Wouldn't you say so, Santa?
Ho ho ho. Yeah, no, I I think the Oscars are definitely waiting for our first video of 2024 when we do the Quiet on Set Awards, so they can kind of copy paste what we have there. So stay tuned for that. We have a couple of fun categories that maybe the Oscars should even add, but we'll see. Copy it all. If we see some of the fun categories that we have that later on in the award show, you know where they got it from.